Hello everyone, hope you guys are doing great. So in my today's video, I'm going to discuss about a company called Canary's Automation Limited. I'm doing this at the back of request of one of my followers who wanted me to look and analyze this company, right? So I'm going to divide this video into two parts. In the first part, I'm just going to discuss the numbers and the management commentary which had come in H1. There is no commentary for H2, the how to say the con call or the investor PPT. So I have to depend upon the H1 con call commentary. And I'm going to discuss the main points which I believe it is important. And then in the second part of the video, right, I'm going to discuss if whether I will invest in this company or not. And if I invest, what is the reason? If I do not invest, what are the reasons that I will not invest? Okay. So I'll make that clear. Okay. So if you look from the results perspective, right? So for H2, the revenue growth was quite impressive at around 86% to 97 crores, and PAT was up around 50% to 8 crores. If you look at the full year revenue, it increased by almost 122% to 198 crores, and PAT was up by almost 67% to 15 crores. So, so that was the main thing. So over here, if you look from the perspective which led to the growth, right? If so, as I said, I have to depend on the H1 con call, right? So in the H1, the management had clearly said that the growth has mainly come from the technology solution side, which grew in H1 by almost 200%. So I hope, I mean, if I see take that trend, right? So I believe that this H2 also the growth has come from the technology solution side. In terms of water resource management, the growth was almost like flat. So there was no difference in it. In terms of margins, right? Because if you look at the numbers, even though the sales growth was high, they could not get the operating leverage or the same, the profit could not grow at the same rate at the revenue. So one of the main reason, if you look at the H1 commentary, right, the management said because they had to invest, into the subsidiary which bought it in US. At the same time, they had to hire new people in order to grow the business. So which partially subsided this margin. So I can understand because it's a small company, and that could happen. And if you look in terms of the order book, right? So because this business runs on order book, when they get orders from the company, they execute it, they get paid, right? So order book from the H1 perspective was around 208 crores, divided between technology solution, which was around 151 crores, and water resource management around 57 crores. And if you look at their recurring mix in this, how to say, in the overall order that they get, right, that is also very important, right? Because if a company gets one-time order, okay, they execute it and it gets over. And if they do not get a repeat order, then it become a big problem, or if the order is not recurring. So if you look from that perspective, so let's look at their India business, right? So in India, out of the overall revenue that they get, almost 30% of their orders are repeat and long-term orders, and remaining 65% are short-term or one-time orders only. And if you look at their business which they acquired in US, which is Fortera, over there, the recurring mix is quite high because 75 to 80% of their orders are long-term. And if you look from the water resource management perspective, it's a multi-year between 3 to 5 years. Between 3 to 5 years. So these are the main things. So if you look at it, right, the growth which is coming from, which is like the technology solution over there, the problem or the issue is the uncertainty of the order book, and majority of the orders are small. Because recently I just saw some updates from them. So they got order for the US business, where the order book was only of around 250,000 US dollars, and they got another short term order from an Indian company which was only around 4 crores. Okay, so these are the main things. And the other, and let's, and if I talk in terms of guidance from the management, right, from the call, so the management did not give any clear guidance in terms of revenue growth. All they said that they want to grow. They When they asked for a specific number, they said, okay, see, last in 2025 we grew by 20%. This year we grew by almost close to around 102 22%. You combine that, extrapolate it, and then you can get the number. And they're saying that they're still working on it to give a exact guidance. So for me, what I saw, that there was no clarity. And if I uh, now we're going to go to the second part, right, where if I am planning to invest in this business, or if I'm looking at this company, right, to put my money in this stock, right, what would I see? First thing I would say is, whether do I understand the business model? See, when I went through it, I could understand from a higher perspective with they're into technology solution and water resource management, but I couldn't get much better understanding in it. And for me, that becomes a problem, right? The reason is why, because if I don't understand the business model at all, right, in future, I will not be able to, distinguish if something goes wrong with the company, or if something wrong has happened. That becomes a problem for me. So for me, understanding of the business model is a very important. Second thing is, right, the management said, right, that just because they're adding customers to their business does not literally translates into revenue. It takes time. So that is another big concern. No matter how much, how to say, clients that they are adding, in terms of for them to get revenue, increased revenue, that takes a bit time, or it all depends upon the relationship. So for me, I see that in terms of the revenue growth, that there is no certainty in that, and that is the reason why management did not give any clear on guidance. And the other thing I would say, right, their water management solution, right, is a drag, because even though the technology solution is growing, the water management solution is not growing at all. At the same time, it has a long payment cycle, which is a drag on the working capital. So for me, first of all, business model is not that clear. There is no clear guidance in terms of revenue and margins. We don't know how well it can increase over the future. So there are a lot of things which are uncertain about this. I'm not saying that the company is not going to do better in future, or they're not going to get better, but that's for the future. But currently, the information that I have, and from what I can see, for me, there is uncertainty, right? And if we look at the overall stock market, there are so many other companies which are growing a north of 25 percent. They have given clear, the management has clarity. They have given clear, they have given clear guidance. I mean, if you look at the example of V2 Retail, Sky Gold, Gina, Seco, Yata. There are so many other. I mean, if you're looking into other businesses, also you just go and read the con call. If you get the clarity, you know what the management is trying to do. So you might say, Masood, what if this company does and suddenly becomes, uh, 20 or 30 bagger? For me, the way I see it, right, I'm okay to miss the first or the second upcycle when I don't have clarity. If the company starts doing well and the clarity comes later, I might, I might jump in later. I might make only 1x or 2x. I might not make 5x. But for me, clarity is more important. You know why? Because in the stock market, right, as an investor, the most important thing should be to preserve your capital. And if you're not clear what about the company and about the future, it is better to keep that capital safe and put in a place where it is much more safer. Is You might say, Masood, will not something go wrong with the company even though they have given clarity, or even they have given clear guidance? That could happen, but the chances are quite less. But that does not mean I'm saying that the company is bad or the management is not good, right? All I'm trying to say, I don't see clear guidance, and then I don't see the management has proven themselves. Only time will tell. If they are able to grow their technology solutions, right? And if their US business is able to, gain more clients and everything, it could be a game changer for them. But we have to wait and see. If personally I was there, I would not invest in it. I would just keep it on the side and keep an eye and see how things are developing. Because whenever I invest, even if I don't like the company at this point of time, that does not mean it cannot become better later. Keep an eye and see if starts doing better. The clarity comes, the order book increases, then go and invest. That is a much better solution rather than trying to invest in hope and things don't work out at all, right? So this is my point of view. So if you guys like this analysis, please do hit like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you and God bless you.